I totally got it. It's it. I'm moving it closed and opened. Open, closed, open, closed. I've done it. I have done it. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for stopping by. It's Uncle Jake, but of course you do that. What are we doing today? Something that if you own a Ford, and it's a truck especially, I don't know if this extends. There's Dr. Torque, of course. What's happening? We don't know if this extends to anything outside of the F-150 range, or in this case, the Raptor. But if you have one of these, you have experienced this. Let me demonstrate. You come over here and you're like, oh, let me turn the fan on. Oh my gosh, it's shaking the whole dang truck. You heard that?
Outside the truck, it doesn't appear to be as bad as inside the truck. Last week I was in the back seat, and it literally, I couldn't believe that it was actually the fan motor, shaking the truck. It was violent almost.
It's crazy, and it's loud. Oh, I'm in the dark. Hold on. There we go. For some reason, that's better. So I at first thought we were thinking that it was the fan motor. And then I started noticing that the recycled doesn't seem to work. Every time I put it on, it still seems like I smell exhaust. I drove the last truck for 14 years, and I was so excited to get a truck because it was a Ford Ranger, and that just wasn't an option. Unless you were max AC, you didn't get to have recycled air. I don't know what. I guess they didn't think you needed it. So this truck has it, and it wasn't working. And that started cluing me in to do some research where, how do we even explain this? This whole
Ford.
thing. Ford. So what happens, and we're going to take the fan out and we're going to check, but I'm almost positive what we're going to find is that way back up in here, as far back and as far up as you can possibly get, there is a component that I'll show you right here. The guy at the parts store said, at Ford said, it's about the size of a small watermelon. It's this right here. Would you mind, Dr. Torque? So this is not the flow, the air flow mix. What? This is the fresh air or recycled valve right here. And it sits in there. Let's see. The motor goes right here, and it sits at a weird angle like this in there. And the motor runs this little gear here that, of course, runs the flap. And this is what breaks. This part, this whole piece, breaks off and falls down into the fan shroud. And then what that causes is an out of balance situation with that fan, and it goes at such high RPMs that it starts shaking so bad it literally shakes the whole truck. You can feel it in the seat. I thought my engine was coming apart again, so I was thankful that it wasn't. Here's the problem with this. Not this time. To get to this here, you have to take out the seats. Then you have to take out the center console. Then after you take out the center console, you have to take out the steering column. And then after you have to do that, remember, if you watched the video not long ago when we upgraded from the MySync, Ford Sync MyTouch 2 to the Touch 3, which is a huge improvement, by the way. And if you want one of those, because it works for any Ford, even though Ford said you couldn't do it, there's an upgrade. We even got a discount code for you. Go check it out. But you got to take all of this stuff off just like we did before, including the airbag, and then the whole dash. To get to the top part of the dash out, you can take the whole thing out. It's an insane amount of work. So I'm going to attempt today to do something that, as far as we can tell, has never been done in the world. And the question is, can I change this out without taking all that apart? I actually have no idea, but we're going to attempt it. So we'll show you how to fix the fan and get that out of there and that piece that's in there. And I'm almost 100% sure that we're going to find that broken piece right there. So to get to the fan itself, the best way to do this is first take out this glove box. If you look under here, there's 3 bolts right here. Take those out. That's the easiest way. This is a 9/32 is what I'm using. Let's take it out. Once you get those 3 bolts out, this is actually pretty easy. This whole thing just slides out like so. I hope you can see that. The nice thing about having a back seat is you can just put it right back there. Now, let's take a look. So this is not what you need to get to. What we need to get to is a fan, which is back here. See that guy right there? And back here, you'll see a bolt here A bolt there and one there. This is a little tight. And when you do this, because it's so tight back here, there is not much clearance. Getting this carpet pulled back will give you just a little bit more and help you get that. It just pulls back real easy. So that's the next thing. We're gonna take out those bolts and I'll show you also where it came from. See that back there? That is that whole piece where I suspect we're gonna find a busted gear down the fan. So let's get the fan out. So I would probably just snap this fuse tray out. That's easy to get out of the way. You're gonna need it out of there anyway, I think, because it really gives you clearance. And then you're gonna want to take out this plug right here, which just squeezes on the side. It presses right here, see this? That's why we make the videos. You press in here and pull down. There you go, that's out of the way. If you want to, you can press this out, which while you're under here, if you have an electric ratchet, it would make your life a lot easier, because that bolt in the back right there, you can get like a quarter or maybe even an eighth of a turn. So if you can't, you just gotta do it 1/8 of a turn at a time. But if you have one of these babies, or you want to invest in one, very helpful. Okay, once you have this loose, and you can see it's dropped in, you start to see the fan shroud, and you try to take this out. Like, let's see if I can get some light in here. It starts to hook, like I said, right there on the carpet. It's pretty darn tight, but if you just pull the carpet back a little bit, I apologize for the closeness of this, it slides right out. Now, but look what we have here. Shocker of shockers, it's the gear busted out. Exactly like we thought. This doesn't look like much, and it doesn't even weigh much, but man, does it throw that fan off enough to go make the whole thing shake. So if you're just wanting to fix this and you don't care whether it's cycled or recycled air, I guess you could stop right here, because that's your problem. It's not your fan. But if you are like me and you would like to go past that and have the ability to go recycled cycle to clear your windshield, or if it's hot in the summer you want recycled air, we got to go a little bit further. So the next step, if you pull this piece off right here, comes out very easy, and you grab your flashlight, and let's see if we can do this. If you look, boy, it's going to be really hard to see, but it's back there. This is probably impossible, but it's back there. That's a piece I showed you earlier. It's back there. You can kind of see it. We've either got to, let me explain my thoughts. So this is the piece right here, and this piece is split in half. So again, goes in there like this, and it's angled. See these screws here and these here, these four? That lets us split in half, and that's what gets this gear in and out. So I can see those bolts from this side. I really don't know if it's possible, but if I could get that to split open a little bit and just open up wide enough to get this apart, I could get the door out of this one and maybe back in. Let me show you the culprit in here. Let me see if we can, I'm gonna flip you upside down. Probably get dizzy. See in there? Hope you can see in there. That's the door right there. That's the thing that flips. If I can do it. Oh, this is tough. Sorry about the camera work. See how that goes up and down? And it is jiggly loose in there. So the plug is on that side. So the question is, can I get this apart enough to get that door out and then this one back in? And how much do I have to get it apart? I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're absolutely gonna give it a shot, because otherwise the amount of work that we have to do is like a whole day's worth of work, I would say. And that's if you don't run any problems. So let's see what we can do. So I want to show you what I've been trying to do. Obviously we know we got to get this out somehow, and I showed you that we've got those. Where are they? This goes, I forget, it's there we go. It's got those 4 bolts nuts, bolts here, and then 2 here. Now I took this out because these 2 I can get to by reaching up in here to see if this thing expands a little bit, and it does. So I could keep going. I don't want to tear this in case I end up using this, but it does show me this pulls apart. So the question is, well, actually, the question is, can I get it separated enough to remove that door? But I want to show you how you can get to those. If this works, it's one hand up underneath here, and you can get it right back to where we're touching back there. And then this hand, you can put in right here. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but you can get back here, and you can actually turn those 2 out. So I've gotten those same 2. They're actually green on the one here for whatever reason. And they're not hard to turn. It's really coarse thread, so it's not like this is, you know, really difficult to get out. You can do it by hand. You don't need a ratchet. So I just use this. And so now I've gotten these bolts out. So the next step is to see if I can separate this enough to get the old door out, and then enough to get the new door in. Because it's got to come out through this bottom. And you see this little lip right here? It sits down in something. So I almost have to be able to push this up and out. I'm not sure if it'll work, but it's got a, you know, a pretty cushy gap here that I'm hoping will work, and do so without taking these back up, because it could back up be hard. So that's the next step. Hey, when you're doing a world's first, you got to be brave. There's no guarantees. And you might get some snappage, but if we have a success, that's pretty sweet. That'll be the second world's first, as far as we know, because we did it on the Polaris, the ×2 by power steering, which was a, I don't want to do that again, but we did it. So, all right, on to the next step. Okay, this is big. Do you know what this is? This is the flapper door. And do you know what I didn't do? I did not take apart my entire truck. And I forgot, besides taking out the seats and the dash and all the console face here, and then the whole steering column, the whole thing, you've got to dump out the AC.
You have to evacuate,
you got to evacuate the AC. That's unbelievable. So far, we've done what we've been told cannot be done. Now, whether or not I can get it back in is a whole different story, but let me show you what I did. So I practiced on this, right? So I just took out on this. We'll see, how's this sucker go in here? It goes in here like that. I just took out the 2 screws here, right? And then there's 2 holes here, but there's only 1 bolt here. I took that out. I took these out because you can get to that. I took this one out here. Now, there's one back here. This one is really hard. You can see it if you angle down. If you look down the side, you can see it. The problem is, I spent a good hour at least, scraped the crap out of my arm. You can't get it no matter which way. You took the airbag out, which I don't think you actually need to do now that I'm this far, but if you do take the airbag out, unplug your battery. You do not need that thing exploding in your face. You know what I mean? You just don't need it. But this right here, this is the tool. You will never get it without this. It's just it's Cobalt. Cobalt for the win today. Cobalt, you should be sponsoring us. Look what we did.
That's Lowe's, right?
That's Lowe's, yeah. And so this way, you can get it back there and touch the bolt. Like if the bolt's sticking up like that, you just sort of touch it, and you can get your hand about here and you just push it back till it plops on and unscrew it. I seriously would not have been able to do with this. As soon as I did that, then what I do is I reached in here and I grabbed, like, again, how's this go? Goes up like this. I grabbed this side and I kind of pulled this, because this back won't move. I thought initially you could just push this back out, but it won't go. But you pull this, reach up in there, and you can get this sucker out. Now I got to get the new one back in, but that's a huge step. I cannot believe that I got this. So I've got to get the motor off, because if I put this in and it's in the wrong direction, that motor's going to crank on it and burn the motor, or it's going to screw up. Well, we don't want after all. So I got to take the little motor off that's mounted right there to the side. Looks like two screws. Get that off. Then I can put this new one in. Then we can make sure we know what setting this is. Make sure the flap is according to whether it's recycled or fresh, and then put it in. But I can't believe that we got that. Not supposed to be able to be done, but we did it. So I'm gonna count this as a win no matter what the next steps are, but that's it. Whew! On to the next step. So one of the things we need to do, as we said, is take off that actuator motor, so that when we turn this on, we've got to make sure it's zeroed out and open is open and closed is closed. So there's 2 bolts in that. One you can get to, now let me show you on this. So this is such a handy tool. So it bolts on here and here, 2 bolts. This one you can get to pretty easily from this side and reaching in here and here. So you reach through here, reach through here. The other one is just easiest to come up and get under here. And that one I did not take out all the way because you don't need to. I wish I could show you, it's so tight in there, but one all the way out in the front that's easiest to get to. The second one that's harder, it'll be harder to restart. Just take it out halfway so I can pop the door out and the gear out. Now it just looks like we're ready to try to install the new door. Pretty exciting. I made the man laugh over there. I said, all we gotta do is take this vehicle, pop, pop, flippity flop. And he thought that was funny. That's how easy it's gonna go though. It's gonna work just like that. Here we go. Let's do it. I totally got it. It's it. I'm moving it closed and opened. Open, closed, open, closed. I've done it. I have done it. I have done what was said couldn't be done. Do you hear me?
So is that kind of like Grover's near, far?
Near, far, near, far. I can't believe it. It's back in there. Oh, if you cannot tell, I'm both relieved and excited. And I say, take that, Ford. Oh my gosh. How to describe this? Well, when you're putting this back in, what I had to do was reach in on the top here and grab this opening, because this is just really stuck, and pull it like this. I actually use my thumb to wedge it like that, and then, how the heck do I even get this? How did I do that? Okay, the side that's broken, you've got to get that in first. So what I did is I felt up in here, because you can feel all this. I felt up in here and felt a little hole, and then put a little mark with the dust, and put this in this way as close as I could. And then I popped this in like this. And then when I first got it, this wasn't lined up in that hole. So there's your challenge. You got to wiggle it around until it pops in. But as soon as it pops in here, you can, man, it's really hard to do. It did take me a little while, but there we, oh, this is just broken. So it's swerving, wiggling around. Once it's in like that and you close it, it's really easy to tell if you've got it. And that's another important thing to know when you're putting in here which way to get this. It doesn't go to the back and up, it goes forward like that and up. So that's fresh air, recycled is up. So it's up and forward like that. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I did that. I still got to put a bunch of stuff back together and check it, but that's the step that supposedly was impossible. Oh, you saw it here first. You were with us. You were part of history. How's that feel? You should feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about it. Dr. Torque, you feel pretty good about it? He's so excited, he's speechless. That's how we're gonna go. Oh, my arm's tired. You know how once you figure something out, finally, it's usually like, oh, it's not that bad, it's kind of hard. Oh man, my arm is tired, but I got the back, that back tight one on with this again. So our friend Nick the neighbor, he loaned us this. That was really cool. I'm gonna say one other tip too is there's a few of these wiring harnesses I pop loose, like especially this big one right here. I would definitely pop that loose. It's from up somewhere under here. I've lost the, oh, right here. Yeah, see right there? It pops down from that, if you can see that. That's the biggest one I take out of the way. I also pop this one loose here. And I would say that taking out the glove box was worth it, because even though it didn't work to put my hands down in here like I was hoping, it did let me see a lot more. So, what's that?
You called it a glove box. I think you
oh, thank you, airbag. Yeah, glove. You got to take the glove box out, but the airbag. Thank you very much, Dr. Torque. Okay, now we got to turn it on, set that motor at whatever the 0 point is for open or closed, and then we've got to set the flap the same, put that in, put the bolt in, tighten up the other one, and then test it. But I can't believe it. I really cannot believe it. This is so awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's keep working. Okay, we've got the assembly back together. We've got the actuator motor set to 0, which was, in this case, fresh air, which means the flap needs to be down. We've got the motor back in. Consequently, I figured out why that was breaking. That is because that actuator motor, that servo, is not set to stop at certain points. It goes till it meets a certain amount of resistance. So every time that opens and closes, it opens, you hear it goes, and so it's tweaking on that door every time. No wonder it broke. It's not just open or closed like I thought. It's like pressurized. That's crazy. Well, we got it back on. We got the airbag on. We're gonna pop this little thing back in place. That's a piece of cake. Then we got to put, well, first we'll put the I keep calling this, what do I keep calling this? Blower motor? But it's a squirrel fin?
Blower shroud.
Blower shroud. Yeah, it's not a shroud or anything. It's just the squirrel cage for the blower motor. So we're gonna get that hooked back up and in there, and then power back on, take jumping. Let's keep going. We are getting there. We can see the last few pieces. So let's keep working. Let's keep moving. Okay. Glove box is back in, motor's in, plugged in, double checked, no extra screws. Always a nice thing. We've left this off the side because I just want to listen to this when I turn it on. Got the battery back on. This is the test. Nothing's freaking out yet. First we'll test.
You know, like so many.
Well, we'll turn that down. First we'll test the what? The fan. Okay, that's quiet, way quieter. That's max. No shaking, no rattling, blowing lots of air. That's a really good sign. So I couldn't hear if the motor was working, so I unplugged the fan. So now we're gonna try putting our ear here and seeing if we can hear it. Oh, I hear it. And it stopped. And that's recycled. So let's listen to it again, make sure. Okay, it's going. That totally did it. That's it. Dude, we did it. How do you feel about being part of history? History was made today.
I did nothing.
We're gonna call and we're gonna check to see what the quote is for that, because the part was $139, $140 basically. So that was a lot of money. But can you imagine how much they charge to take out all, like we said, seats, dash, steering column, console, vent, AC, all that? We're gonna find out. But they said that it couldn't be done. They said it was impossible. I'm announcing to the neighborhood. We took up the challenge and we have success, and you witnessed it. You were part of it. Motors of Mischief, the Mischief Mafia. He's over there reading mail. Can you believe at a time like this? People wait their whole lives to be a part of history. And today it's happened. It did. It happened. I'm so happy about this. I can't even tell. You could probably tell I'm fairly excited about this. But that's such a huge thing to have done. Not only to have the fan working and fix that problem, if that's all you want, but if you actually want to do the rest of this and you don't want to go through that crazy amount of work, how long did that take me, Tom? What do you think? I mean, that took a while. Not counting, you can't. I don't think we should count fixing the fan, because that was, you'd have to do that anyway.
6 hours?
6 hours. Take off 1 hour before I got the right dang tool, at least. Maybe an hour and a half. So maybe with the video, knowing what we like, if I had that video to start with.
We were doing other things too, so.
True. That's true. We were doing 2 projects at once.
So probably 4 to 5 hours, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 4 to 5 hours, I'd say. Maybe you could do it in 4 with the video. I kind of feel like you could knock that out even faster now. Save a ton of money and still Ford to stick it in their ear. We're never going to get a Ford sponsorship. But, hey, we like the Raptor. So, from all of us, which is basically me today, and this man right here, Dr. Torque, we love you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for witnessing history. I can't say that enough. I am very excited about this. Oh, have an awesome rest of your day. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home and just chill. I'm going to probably swing by. I need something. It's cold to drink. It's cooling off, you know what I'm saying? But it's still warm enough after working. So we love you. Don't forget to subscribe. Come back for more. Ask any questions you have in the comments. We'll do our best to answer them. We really try to do that. And we're going to take you out, as always, with the fist bump of friendship. Look like I'm hitting Dr. Torque. Whoop-ow! Look, it ain't a Miata. I don't even know what that means. Hold on. Dr. Torque said something very important.
I said, may the force be with you.
I'll take it. I didn't even do the intro. Like, I should start that over. Cut.
Hey everybody, I'm Uncle Jake.
Maybe you should do the Oh, what's that? I would take the fuse. And then I can't get it back in there because it's probably. How the heck does that go in there? Yeah, a little bit.
You can't return it now.
Yeah, I can. I didn't mess it up at all.